Hello everyone and welcome to our channel Homeopathy World. I am Dr. Samina and in today's lecture we are going to discuss the Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940. And this video is a part of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology series. So let's get started. This act is an act of Parliament of India and this act regulates the import, manufacture and distribution of drugs in India. This act was originally known as the Drugs Act and was passed in 1940. The original act was prepared in accordance to the recommendation of the Chopra Committee formed in 1930. The Chopra Committee had put forth the Drugs Act that was passed in 1940. And since 1940, the Act has undergone several amendments. Amendments is several changes in rules and regulations put forth in the Act and is now known as the Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940. So what are the objectives of this Act? The primary objective of this Act is to ensure that the drugs and cosmetics that are sold in India are safe, effective and conform to the state quality standards. So whenever a drug or cosmetic is sold, it should qualify some quality standards to be safe and effective for the people who are using it. The related Drug and Cosmetic Rules 1945 contains provisions for classification of drugs under given schedule, and there are guidelines for the storage, sale, display and prescription of each schedule. So, Drug and Cosmetic Act and Drug and Cosmetics Rule is different. The Act came into existence in 1940 while the Drug and Cosmetics Rule came into existence in 1945. Now in later lectures we are going to study the Drug and Cosmetics Rule also. Okay? In Drugs and Cosmetic Rules there are provisions which are given for the guidelines of storage, sale, display and prescription of the drugs and cosmetics. So let's go to the title and extent. The title of this act may be called the Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940. It extends to whole India except for the state of Jammu and Kashmir in certain circumstances. The commencement of this act was done on 10th April 1940. Now there are some important definitions that you should know when you are studying this act. The most important definition here is the drug. When we are talking about the Drug and Cosmetics Act, what do you mean by the drug? The term drug here is defined as a wide variety of substances, diagnostics and medical devices. So what do you mean by cosmetics? The Act defines cosmetic as any product that is meant to be applied to the human body for the purpose of beautifying or cleansing. The definition, however, excludes soaps. So if you are talking about the beautifying products, soaps are excluded from the beautifying products or soaps are not considered as cosmetics. The Act was amended to include Ayurveda and Unani drugs. So before the Act did not have Ayurveda and Unani drugs included, but later on it was amended in 1964, after which Ayurvedic and Unani drugs are included in this Act. And those drugs are also considered as cosmetics. Now there are various important sections of this act that we should know. Starting from section 16. Now the section 16 of the act defines the standard of quality for drugs. So what quality should be maintained while preparing the manufacturing the drugs is given in section 16. According to section 17, defines misbranding, that a drug is considered misbranded if it claims to be of more therapeutic value than it actually is. So suppose if, for example, when we see online shopping sites or online shopping channels, they promote a product when they say that this particular cream will give you fairness in 24 hours or it will give you fairness in 48 hours. That is misbranding. That means they are claiming that it can be effective or therapeutic in certain period of time which it cannot be. But they are claiming it. They are claiming the therapeutic value of that product to be more than what it is actually. So that comes under section 17. Under section 18, the manufacturer of such a drug may be asked to suspend the manufacture of the drug. So sometimes if the government notices that the manufacturer is not following the rules and regulations under this act, they may ask him to suspend the manufacturing of that drug. Next is section 27. It deals with the fake and adulterated drugs. This act requires more of that ingredients of the drug should be printed on the label. So recently, when there was a increased demand of sanitizers and the production was less, so many fake and adulterated sanitizers have come into existence. They were sold in black markets and they were purchased by many of the pharmacists, and it was sold over the counter. Again, this was fake and adulterated. So all the ingredients of any drug that comes into the market, the ingredients of the drug should be printed on the label very clearly, and each ingredient should be printed on the label. That is section 27. Now section 22 defines the power of the drug inspectors. So it has given some powers to the drug inspectors that they can go inspect, examine any particular pharmacist possessing these drugs, and they can go inspect, examine these pharmacists, and they can examine the drugs, and if they find that the quality is not maintained, or if they find that they are fake or adulterated, they can take the respective actions against the particular pharmacist. That is section 22. Now section 23 defines a strict procedure which should be followed by the inspectors during any raid. Now the inspectors also have to follow some protocols while they are doing any raids. So it has to be covered under camera, it has to be through given protocols, they have to give an prior notice to the pharmacist, and they have to keep all the documents that they receive during the raid documented, and every piece of evidence should be documented, and there are many other protocols that they should follow in section 23. Now the penalties under this act. The act lacks specific penalties for violating the provisions relating to clinical trials. So now there is no specific penalty for the violation of this particular act. The penalty depends upon each case differently. On 17th April 2015, the government told the Supreme Court of India that due to the lack of these specific penalties, the government could only halt the trials and issue warnings. So, suppose if a company XYZ is preparing or manufacturing drug which is adulterated, or which is having an ingredient which is not printed on the label, which is misbranding. So they can only issue trials and they can only halt the manufacturing, or they can seize the manufacturing, but they cannot take any action against the respective companies. What if somebody is not obeying this act? How is that particular person punishable under this act? So offense is whoever himself or by any other person on his behalf imports any drug or cosmetic deemed to be adulterated, that is fake or mixtured, shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years and a fine which may extend to 5,000 rupees. Okay, and any drug or cosmetic other than the drug or cosmetic referred to in clause A and the import of which is prohibited under section 10 shall be punishable with imprisonment of the term which may extend to 6 months or a fine which may extend to 500 rupees or both. And any drug or cosmetic in contravention of the provisions of any notification issued under section 10A. So whatever is issued under the section 10A shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years or a fine which may extend to 5,000 rupees or both. So that was all about Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940, which is different than Drugs and Cosmetics Rule 1945, which we are going to study later. So if you have any doubts regarding this particular lecture, please comment in the comment section below, and do like, share and subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to get the notification of our updates. Thank you for watching the video.